Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? You okay? Good Finnish answer, this very low. You know, I live in Oslo, Norway, and don't worry, their energy level is even lower, but I'm gonna try to lift it up. Everybody in the mood to get paranoid? Yeah, nice early morning for that? So let's jump into it. So, my name is Thomas Anglero, and what I'm gonna do is, I speak to executives all over the world, and they say, Thomas, how does AI affect me today? What should I do today? And is this thing really a threat, or is it hype? So I'm gonna jump right into it. I'll give you one more chance. Are we ready? Yes. Is that the best you can do? Okay, by the end of my speech, oh, by the way, do somebody remind me at the end of my speech, do this, and I have a secret story, okay? Let's jump into it. Here we go. The future of work. Executives all over the world, they've been interviewed by PricewaterhouseCoopers. Every year, PricewaterhouseCoopers does a survey, and they ask thousands and thousands of CEOs, what is the future like? And this past January, they came back, and if you look at the quote at the bottom, it says, 45% of CEOs believe their company will not be viable in the next 10 years if it stays on its current path. 45%. When you ask a CEO, you'll be anonymous, tell us the truth. When I sit down and talk to leaders all over the world and I say, let's talk about AI, let's talk about disruption, they get really nervous. So I think this is amazing to find out that 45% of all CEOs, no matter what industry, when they know they can talk privately, their company won't be around in the next 10 years if it doesn't change. Ladies and gentlemen, things are about to change. This beautiful slide that is out of focus and everything, you are one of the first in the world to see it. This slide was taken at a conference by people like you with a person on stage. The gentleman on stage was a top developer for OpenAI. They're the creators and owners of ChatGPT. This was one of his slides. This, I think, was last Wednesday or Tuesday. And then finally, we have a picture of where ChatGPT, where AI is going, and this is powerful. Let me put this in perspective for you. Let's look back to 2021. Do everybody see the dot on the far left side? That was 3 years ago. That was ChatGPT version 3. We all were amazed by that. Then you look at today. That's ChatGPT 4. That's 3 years. And those 3 years, ChatGPT got about 20% better, right? From dot 1 to dot 2. What he told us that we all wanted to know is when's the next version of ChatGPT coming out? Because ChatGPT 4.0 is incredible. What's out there today is amazing, and I'm going to show you some examples. But what's coming next, we don't have to wait 3 years. We have to wait till November. Do you see the increment of improvement from today until November? How much better is it going to be? How much more efficient? 100% better. Hold on. This is powerful. The changes that you think, the changes, leaders all over the world say, from my company, my leader group, they're fantastic. They've taken us all the way to where we are today. We're a great company. And the changes that have happened in the last 3 years with AI world is only 20%, but they're nervous on 20. And the next 6 months and beyond is massive changes. So what I want to do is I want to give you some concrete examples. How can you use AI in your company today to be more efficient and better? Because this is the #1 challenge. Please give me use cases. Here's a use case. Let's jump right into it. This here is my use cases with ChatGPT. And by the way, these are all videos that I can't play today because I don't have enough time. But if you go on YouTube, you can see the full video. This is a woman who's on a Teams call or a Zoom call. Everybody remember the COVID days where there was team calls and Zoom calls all the time? You're probably on some of those calls today. Today, AI can be on those calls with your team. When you're on a Zoom call and the call is over, wouldn't you love to follow up with every individual person on that call to make sure they deliver, make sure they give you the graph on what's the future pipeline, what's the sales going to be? Well, AI can do that now. AI will be on the call and will act as you as a leader. It will literally lead the whole meeting. It won't just sit there and give you the meeting minutes. It actually will say, good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about pipeline. Today, we're going to focus on our clients, say Skanska or a bank or an insurance company. And it will actually lead the meeting. It'll ask each individual person in the meeting, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? It'll act like as if it's you. What's so amazing and powerful about that is that you can't replicate yourself. You as a leader, I mean, this is powerful. You as a leader, wouldn't you love to follow up with everyone on that call? It can. So maybe this gentleman right here, when you're finished with a call, let's say you work for me and you have trouble maybe with time management. The AI has time to work with you after that call and say, what do you need help with? Maybe you need help with formulating an email. Maybe she needs help with something else. That AI can individually work with everybody on your team after that call on a one-to-one basis. You as a leader, you would love to work with all your people on one-to-one, right? You can't. But the AI can. Do you understand? That's where we are today. How efficient would you be? How efficient would your company be if you had that time to spend one-on-one with every one of your employees? That is where we are today. And you can use this technology today. There's a free version and there's a pay version. By the way, the pay version is $25 US per month. To optimize your company, that's pretty cheap, don't you think? Let me give you another example. AI as a consultant. These examples of AIs, I like to call them AI agents. This is a word that you're going to hear all the time in the future. AI agents. AI is running all over the world, doing all over the internet, helping you out. Think of the AI agent as a consultant. In this example, by the way, this is the founder of Khan Academy, the gentleman there, that's the father. He's helping his son, but he's asked ChatGPT 4.0 for help to tutor his son. He has a trigonometry problem. Everybody remember trigonometry? That killed me as an engineer. And what they have is they have that mobile phone looking down at the kid's homework. And as he's drawing the homework, the AI is going, okay, what's the tangent to the angle 30 degrees? And the AI is helping him along. It's not giving him the answer, but as he does it, the AI is saying, good, maybe you should think of it this way. And as he answers that, oh, maybe you should think of it that way. It's acting as a tutor, but you as leaders, how much do you pay McKinsey? How much do you pay Accenture, Boston Consulting? Do you guys hire consultants? Yes or no? Everybody does, probably. Nobody wants to admit to it because their budgets are reduced. Anybody get a consultant that charges 10,000 euro an hour? Anybody like to get rid of that person? Now you raise your hand. AI is actually a consultant now. Just like it helped this kid, you can have an AI help you. Think of it. When you hire somebody from one of these big consulting firms, they have 34, you have a guy come into, it's never one guy, they always bring 10 people, right? That's why your bill's so high, right? But then they have this guy coming through, I have 30 years of experience in this industry, I've covered this whole part of the world. AI has hundreds of thousands of years of history, it's covered every part of the world. When you sit down with that consultant, you have lunch together and they're running up the hours, right? And you're having lunch. And something happens, let's say in Italy or Japan, and his issue is written in Italian or Japanese. That consultant that's sitting down you're having lunch with, he doesn't or she doesn't know what's happening, but the AI knows what happened, has translated it, and has sent you a message while you're having lunch. And you just beep on your phone and go, oh, okay, that happened with my client. But that gentleman in front of you or woman in front of you, they don't know. This is all the power that you have. AI is not hype. You have this power, these capabilities today. So in business, you say, how can I use AI to help my company? We're there. AI agents act as consultants. Here's something else more factual for you leaders. Thank you to Google for this fact. This is a list. This is proof of the efficiencies. A lot of leaders ask, take a picture of it. This is really important. This just came out 2 weeks ago. A lot of leaders ask, what would I see in my company? How will this improve my company? Give me some bona fide statistics as what difference will I see? Google came out with Gemini 1.0. Remember I said 3 years ago that was ChatGPT 3, that was about Gemini 1. And then they have 1.5. So blue is Gemini 1, green is Gemini 1.5. 3 years ago today. And if you look at the different industries, if we look at architecture, for example, 3 years ago, architecture, when Gemini 1.0 came out, they said 11% efficiency, a time savings of 11% if you use AI in architecture. Today, if you use Gemini 1.5, the latest version, you'll see a 26% efficiency in time. This is the answer to leaders, what difference will I see? But let me ask you this question. Are you ready? What happens in November? Think about it. What happens in November when the AI gets 100% better, faster, smarter than it is today? What type of improvements will we see? Anybody like lawyers? No, but people were smiling. They feel with me about how I feel about lawyers. 3 years ago, when you use AI in the area of law, it only improved lawyers' work, but it improved their efficiency by 3%. Today, using AI, if you're in a law firm doing research as lawyers do, you see a 44% increased efficiency when using AI. In November, when we now know that the AI, generative AI, gets 100% better, what does that look like? You as a leader, you're going, I feel this change, I feel this pressure, there's so many things going on. How is this going to affect me? How is it going to affect you? It's going to affect you. Now, if I don't have your attention yet, let me get you really scared. Are you ready? The wonderful speaker we just had on stage, Kate, she did a great job introducing to you what? Robots. These are the 8 top humanoid robots that are on the market. I'm only going to focus on one. I'm going to focus on the one, Figure 0 from Figure AI. Why am I focusing on them? They have contracts with the top 200 Fortune 200 companies in the world. They all have made their orders to order this robot. Not only have they put in orders, but they've also said, we want the robot to be smart, and they've given it huge amounts of data. Their maintenance books, so a lot of these robots first will be deployed in jobs where human beings don't want to work, say in a factory, or people in mining who are about 1 kilometer underground in that heat. Nobody wants to work there. So these robots will be deployed there. So they've given all the data on all the manuals so these robots know what to do. Now here's the thing. Not only do these robots have all the data from the top 200 Fortune 200 companies in the world, these robots have all the knowledge of every ChatGPT and AI ever given. That's what's inside the brains of these robots. It has the power of this intelligence of AI, plus all the knowledge of the top Fortune 200 companies, and this is being deployed this summer. And this is what Figure AI looks like. Robots will be a part of our everyday. This is something we cannot change. The top 200 companies in the world, that's paid for it, is done. Robots are part of our future. And as you can see from the video behind me, it moves fine, it could do different things, and it's only going to get better. And from the chart I showed you, the escalation, the growth curve is a straight line up. This is our future. But to calm you down, you won't be working with something as ugly as that. You're going to be working with something like that. This is the current generation of robots. They all look like us. And by the way, the face has been solved. Guess what company in the world has figured out how to make the perfect human face in robots? Anybody? Anybody have kids? Walt Disney. You ever go to Disney World and have all these robots? Well, Walt Disney actually has a patent on the perfect robot face. It is freaky scary when you see that it looks like a human being. So they've cracked the code on the face for a robot. And I won't touch yellow on that one, I'll get in trouble, but there's a lot of things they've done that's innovative. But this is what the next generation robots will be. And when I say next generation, you'll see this around December, and things will only get more and more human-like. And I think Kate brought up a lot of interesting things. Do we even need them to be human-like? So it was a wonderful presentation. I'm trying to tie it all together. But for your cybersecurity point of view, I think this is very interesting. Is this a threat? It is. How do we control these robots? Stanford has a project called NOIR. Stanford's NOIR project allows you to control the robot using wireless. You just put on a headset and you can control the robot. Neuralink, an Elon Musk company, they allow you to control the robot using a wireless chipset. By the way, this is a very important picture. This gentleman here, he's the very first person in the world to have a chip from Neuralink in his brain. If you ever see, you guys in cybersecurity, if you ever see, he's paraplegic, so if he comes in a wheelchair, if he ever comes into your data center, while he's having a cup of coffee with you, because he's connected to every Bluetooth device in the building, be careful of him hacking you. Cybersecurity, be very, very careful. And that's why I'm tying this all together, because this is when I started thinking about saying, come to this conference, you guys better be very careful what's going on. Because I would almost take down all wireless in my data centers, just a hint for you guys, because this is becoming commonplace. And here's what's really going to scare you. Are you ready? Apple. Everybody have an iPhone? Is iPhone popular in Finland, yes or no? Yeah, I gotta get, okay. On June 10th, Apple's releasing iOS 18. Super exciting. Here we go. What's so special about iOS 18? Everything I said about ChatGPT in my presentation is embedded in iOS 18. Apple and OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT, they've signed an agreement. On June 10th, when you upgrade to iOS 18, you're going to get a lot of the functionality I presented today for free in your iPhone, in your iPad. Congratulations. Let that go into your data center and your network. And one of the coolest functionalities that iOS on June 10th, iOS 18 has, you want to know what it is? I can't show the video, but I'll show you. Are you ready? This is how everybody has swipes on an iPhone like this or like this, right? Yes? Yeah. On June 18th, you do it like this. iOS 18 will have the ability to use your iPhone with vision only, no hands. From a security point of view, isn't that scary? People who go into your network and change your screens just by looking at it. This all happens on, June 10th, not June 18th, it's iOS 18. So to wrap up my presentation and all this information, I've given you a lot of information at the same time. If on January they said 45% of all CEOs said, we are afraid of going in 10 years, we will not be viable. What happens in November when the next generation AI comes out that we now know is going to be 100% smarter, better? And what Kate talked about in the previous presentation, if that engineer was worried about the old 3-year-old version of AI being sentient, what happens in November when this thing's 100% better? What do you call that? If sentient was sentient 3 years ago, where are we in November? When the PricewaterhouseCoopers does this survey next January, what do you think that's going to be, 45% or 60%, 70%? Things are changing. With all this AI happening all over the place, a lot of you probably going, what is this? What is this guy talking about on stage? So much is happening. I know a lot of you probably are thinking that you probably feel this way. You probably feel like the world's being run by a bunch of minions, right? I love minions. I love doing Walt Disney stuff. You know how minions are always trying to help that guy who's dressed all in black, right? But they cause total chaos? That's how I feel. That's how you're going to feel too about AI. They're running all over the place. It's changing the world. But it could change the world for a better. For a better. But this is actually what your office will look like in the next 2 to 3 years. It'll look probably something like this. It probably will be a much better looking robot than I have in this picture. But it'll be powered by an AI that we can't even fathom because the growth curve is now there's a hockey stick going up and where this technology is going. But this is the future, and this is what your future will be like as well. Now, a question I always get, but Thomas, the bad guys, aren't they going to try to destroy the world and do really bad things? I leave you with this. We're the good guys, and together we could create an even better world than the bad guys. Thank you very much.
So,
thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Thomas, you've forgotten one thing. You told me last night that you had discovered something slightly frightening. Maybe you could share that briefly before we let you go.
Oh, that's the...
That's that thing, yes.
Yeah, do you want to?
I'm not doing the worm. I would pop a hip.
I told him I would pay him if he got on stage and did the worm. And anybody want to come on stage and do the worm for us real quick?
We are not insured for anybody to do a worm.
What we're talking about is there is an AI that's available today called Worm GPT. I say that slowly because you better be aware of it. Worm GPT is a cloned version of ChatGPT that they took off all the securities of ChatGPT, and is being fed all the information on the hacker community about ransomware, how to break into your network, and everything. Last night, before I went to bed, I checked on the latest version, and the latest version of Worm GPT is version 3.0. And the repository that I went to see to check on that version, it scared the hell out of me, because I was like, well, it can't be that known. Guess how many people viewed that repository to check? 8.6 million people know about this. Do you remember the graph I showed you in November? ChatGPT gets 100% smarter and all that? That version is inside of Worm GPT, and that's coming after your network. So, Worm GPT, you sure? Last chance, do the worm?
Not popping a hip for you, Thomas, no.
Not popping a hip, that's a good one. Anyway, I don't mean to scare you, but look, my job was to inform you, enlighten you, and just remember, next time you see Marcus, think of the Worm GPT. Okay, be very careful. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thomas, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you.